Let's talk a little bit about this guy right here. Ginger Runner. What is up, everybody? Ethan Newberry, the Ginger Runner, here for another Ginger Runner review. We hope you are staying home, staying safe, doing everything you need to do in your local area to just be well. Right now, we're going to be reviewing this from New Balance. This is the Fresh Foam Tempo. Before we dive right in, I want to remind you that this shoe was provided to me for review by Running Warehouse. All opinions are my own. I'm not paid to say anything. I get to be as honest as I want. I get to say whatever I want, and that is why I love doing these reviews. You might remember that a few weeks back, I reviewed the New Balance Fresh Foam 1080, which was probably my favorite Fresh Foam 1080 version since well, it's my only favorite. This, the Fresh Foam Tempo, is its lighter, more reduced brethren, definitely designed to go fast, more for a racing or fast training environment. The 1080 had a lot going for it, and you might remember that I was very favorable in that review. I really enjoyed it, and it was due in large part to the Fresh Foam X, or Fresh Foam 10, compound that they're using in the midsole. The Tempo uses the same stuff. So, the Tempo, being its lighter, faster brethren, you'd think that I'd like this more, or perhaps for different environments. Well, we're going to find out in today's review. First, let's start with what it's all about. The Fresh Foam Tempo is a mid-tier, mid-stack, sort of go fast, everyday trainer slash racer where you need a bit of pep, a bit of cushioning underfoot, but really are looking for that snappy, responsive, fast shoe that isn't going to weigh you down or fatigue your foot or legs over long distances. Excels at quicker paces, responds well to speedy workouts. As I mentioned, Fresh Foam X midsole, a nice lightweight, breathable mesh upper with our hypo knit, a decently subtle outsole, an overly designed and heavier heel counter, extra padded tongue underneath those laces for good tie down across the midfoot, plenty of flexibility and fun right here in the New Balance Fresh Foam Tempo. So, does the Fresh Foam Tempo hold up to the 1080? Is it something that I would choose over that shoe, or is it a use case scenario where very certain environments the shoe excels? Do I even like it? We're gonna find out today, as we always do. As with all of my reviews, I like to talk about the things I like and dislike, starting as always with the things that I like. Fresh Foam 10, Fresh Foam X, Fresh Foam. The new stuff right here in the midsole is great. I loved it in the 1080. That was sort of my first experience with this Fresh Foam X, and the Tempo, I think, does it a little bit better because you don't have as much, but you still get that pleasurable, bouncy feel underfoot when you're running on the roads. It gives you enough, doesn't overload you, so your foot's not getting lost in that midsole. It's still got that pep and bounce, and it's a really nice balance and usage of the Fresh Foam X. Flex, the shoe has a lot of it. This is one thing I really have loved about New Balance shoes, especially their lighter ranges of shoes. They always build in plenty of flexibility. So for those who like good ground feel, where you get to connect with the road or whatever surface you're running on, having so much flexibility shows that there's not a lot of build-up material in that midsole or underneath your foot. You're gonna get that ground feel, plenty of flexibility for your foot stride. It's got it all in the flex department. Nice job. The upper. So we're dealing with a multi-layered hypo knit upper. There are some knitted elements, but overall I've been really happy with the upper. With its seamless interior, it's still really airy and breathable, so you're getting plenty of airflow on those hotter days and faster efforts. So far, the upper's doing really well. You do have some welded elements. I do have foreseeable issues potentially with them peeling off at some point, but for now, it's holding up well. It's nice, breathable, airy, light upper. That being said, it's not all Animal Crossings and turnip sales. There are some things that I dislike about the New Balance Fresh Foam Tempo. The heel. We're dealing with a really heavy plastic, very stiff heel counter. It's really built up back here, and you take into account the outsole rubber, really dense and heavy. It's a bit off balance, so you're getting a lot of weight shifted towards the back under the heel. I get it, protection, fit, all that stuff, but I have lots of experience in other New Balance shoes that don't have quite the buildup in the heel and love them just the same. We're just dealing with a lot of things back here that change the dynamics of the shoe. It's not gonna be something you're gonna feel right out of the box, but as you start to run in the shoe more and more and start racking up the miles, it becomes cumbersome, and it's a minor dislike, certainly something I wanted to point out. The interior of the shoe. I did mention that the upper is nice. It is made of good material that will be fairly durable in the long run. I will say that some of that material on the inside can cause abrasion, especially along here on the lateral side of the toe box. There are some elements within the material that sort of stiffen up the tip of the shoe. The problem on the inside is that those elements in combination make for some abrasive edges, which can lead to blisters depending on the thickness of your socks, the heat within the shoe, the moisture level, all that stuff. Just make sure that whatever size you get, you don't get some of that abrasion along here on the lateral side of the toe box, and you should be totally good to go. And finally, insoles. This is something I've had a problem with in other New Balance shoes in the past, but the insoles are just so easy to get in and out. They're very thin. They slide in and out very easily. If your feet tend to sweat, mine do, those insoles are going to pull right out when you pull your feet out of the shoes on some of those hot days. There's so many other shoes that have better ways of implementing the insole to shoe connection technology, whether it's a little tab of glue or some elements built in to sort of grip. These insoles want to slide right on out. Drives me crazy. I'm always having to re-shove them back in, and it's super tedious. And they're the only shoe brand that I have this problem regularly. That being said, that's kind of all the things I really dislike about this shoe. The experience that I've had in this has been nothing but fun. So in conclusion, the New Balance Fresh Foam Tempo has been a delight, especially comparing it to the Fresh Foam 1080, which I reviewed a couple of weeks ago. This is a standout sort of race shoe. Obviously, there's no races going on right now, but when you're finding yourself running fast or wanting to push the tempo or your own paces, having a shoe like this on your foot is really forgiving, with that midsole being really soft and bouncy, but not being overly built, where you are dealing with additional weight and additional elements that sort of take that pleasure and fun out of the racing experience. While the Fresh Foam 1080 is going to be a fantastic long distance shoe for those long plods where maybe the pace doesn't really matter, this is definitely geared to go a bit faster. Let's get more specific. Build quality. So far, I'm really pleased with the elements. The midsole, obviously, talked a lot about it. It's very good. The upper is strong and breathable. There are some elements that do make some issue for some people's feet with these shoes, but overall, I've been really happy with the build quality. Comfort, again, with the midsole and the upper being really airy, it is a comfortable shoe. Depending on the thickness of your socks, you may not have any issues with the upper materials being a bit abrasive. The heel counter doesn't cause too many issues, but it certainly is something you will notice in the comfort back on the backside of the heel. Fit, it is an accommodating shoe. While certainly not overly wide or inadvertently narrow, I had no problems with this shoe fit-wise. You're able to crank the laces down as much as you want with a thicker tongue. So overall, I've actually been really happy with the fit of the Tempo. Price, they're on sale for $94. That's a screaming deal for a shoe that's going to be good for faster efforts, workout Wednesdays, or race environments whenever that happens again. The shoe's pretty damn well priced. And finally, looks. I'm gonna give it a big meh. It's not the flashiest of shoes. New Balance does some really good designs. They also do some not good designs. With these weird organic elements that are very similar to what I recognized on the 1080. I'm not a huge fan of them, but there are some color versions that are better than others in the Tempo. It's all subjective. Bringing us to our final criteria, is the Fresh Foam Tempo a buy, try, or a why? At $94 something right now, it is a buy. It is one of those shoes that I'm getting joy out of. I love going out and running in these shoes. I think the price is great. Overall, I've just been really happy with these shoes, especially in combination with the 1080, where the 1080 can be the go long, get your 20-mile run done. And then for Wednesdays where you're maybe trying to do some tempo work or intervals or that sort of thing, the shoe just is great in your rotation. And that, my friends, is it for today's review. My question to you, have you run in the Fresh Foam Tempo? It has been out for a while now, so I'm sure many of you have experimented with it, running it, maybe bought a second pair by now. But if not, you want to find out more information or get a pair for yourself, there are Running Warehouse links in the description. They are affiliate links. It helps us out. You don't have to do anything on your end other than just click the link, and it doesn't cost you any extra. There's also discount codes on Patreon and stuff like that. But I'm really curious if you've run in it and what you think. Let us know in the comments. That's it for today's review. If you liked it, make sure you like, favorite, and subscribe to this channel. We're doing new videos every single week, and currently, as you'll see, social media links there. At the bottom on Patreon, patreon.com/thegingerrunner, we're doing live streams every single day for our GR crew community at the $3 level and above. So we've been doing this for 16. Today is day 17. If you want to join us for live streams every single day, we get to answer your questions, talk, hang out. The community is fantastic. We'd love to have you, and it does help out everything that we do here, and the community is just amazing. that is it for today's review. We hope you guys are getting out there and training safely, but hard. Obviously, racing's on hold, so maybe some virtual races are out there and you're racing harder. And finally, party the hardest. It's definitely something we can do a lot of right now. That's it. Thanks, everyone. Get out there. See you next week. Bye-bye.